Alright guys, so wanted to give a quick introduction before we jump into more testing. I have sharpened the knife. I'll actually kind of talk about that here in a sec. On the wicked edge, how it took an edge, factory angle out, and it polishing the edge just for kicks and giggles to see how, if it would, and it did. You'll see some footage of not sharpening, but just kind of after I've sharpened, and then quite a bit of cardboard cutting. The second round of testing went a lot better than the first after I put a different edge on it, so stay tuned. Alright, so we got our hair shaven sharp. You can see all that hair on my finger from my arm. So, took it up to about 1,000 grit finish. Seems to like that toothier edge. So it's shaven arm hair, but it doesn't feel like it's going to cut through copy paper, which is weird. Not copy paper, this catalog paper. Really weird material. It just doesn't feel like anything I've sharpened before. Yeah, look at that. It's almost like I'm not even cutting that. This is the weirdest. There it goes. Still, you know, like decently cutting that, but not great, but will definitely shave hair. So, alright. I think it likes to be toothier, but for the sake of science, we're going to see if we can polish this edge. You can't see the wicked edge in frame, but I'm going to remove the knife from the wicked edge using my lapping films. And it does take a polish. Not as good of a polish as you would want. I haven't stropped it yet, but it does take a polish. Now, will it cut better with that polished edge into this type of material? Let's see. Nope. It's about the same. So even though the edge is polished, it's still cutting like it did before. And let's see how sharp it is on that. Yeah, so the sharpness, I mean, I don't know why you would polish the edge. I don't think you need to. I think 1,000 grit or less, even 800 would be fine, and you'd get the same toothy edge results. But interesting that it does take a polish, right? Not very well, though. Yeah, it's pretty reflective. You guys can see that or not. Alright, so we sharpened it on the wicked edge up to 1,500 grit. It's at 25 degrees per side. That's what it was factory, which is crazy. Hopefully I can reprofile this stuff, but so I matched, it's still not. I matched the factory edge, and it's still pretty toothy. It's not very sharp though, you know what I mean? It just doesn't take a keen edge. But you're not creating a burr, so yeah. But it feels plenty sharp. See, these marks are where I had it clamped on the wicked edge, so if I clamp it back in there. So it's still like decently sharp. But 25 degrees per side is ridiculous. I can mostly cut through this catalog magazine paper, but it still kind of binds up. Certainly not as sharp as I can get pretty much any other steel. Yeah, it's still not very sharp. Alright, round 2 of cardboard testing on the Invictus AT. I put a kind of a polished edge on this actually to see how it would do. Roughly I've got I don't know if you can see this massive pile of cardboard. Okay, so 15 foot long by probably almost a foot by a foot, not quite, sheets of cardboard. Cut through all those. Still feels decently sharp. Still shaving hair. Not as good, but it's still shaving hair. Will it cut through paper. Not very well. But, yeah, see, it's not cutting this paper. So it's really weird. It's almost like the opposite, where it kind of always holds... Oh, there it goes. Still pretty freaking sharp. So that's the second edge I put on it. 25 degrees. I know, I would never usually do that, but that's what the factory angle was, so I wanted to follow it, because I don't know how about reprofiling this steel. Did polish the edge a little bit, and it's still really toothy, but I tell you, I could cut through another 15 box cardboard. This stuff, it just keeps a really toothy edge for a long time. So pretty impressed with the results, especially with the second edge. Maybe the factory edge wasn't very good. In fact, I'm not going to worry about that. It's 20 degrees. I'll just strop it. But yeah, pretty impressed, man. This stuff is cool and 100% corrosion resistant. Will not rust. Holds a toothy edge for a long time. I did eventually dull it yesterday, but I think since I've sharpened it, it's been better. I cut a lot more cardboard today than I did yesterday. Alright guys, so as you can see, it did a lot better with that second edge. Again, I don't love having the 25 degree per side bevel on there, but I'm not sure how you reprofile this, how it would take, since you don't create a burr when you sharpen. It's really interesting stuff. It's very different. From the first video, you saw how easy it was to touch up, though, on a ceramic rod. On a field sharpener I used, it touched up very quickly and got back to shaving sharp. So it's a very interesting material. It holds an edge a long time, but it's a very toothy edge. I've heard dendritic cobalt kind of described as having kind of like a micro serrations on the edge, which I can kind of understand that. It cuts like that. So it will hold an edge a long time. It will sharpen easily in the field, and it's all 100% corrosion resistance. The entire knife is non-magnetic, so I think the way they're marketing it and such, the knife itself is fantastic. I said in a previous video I would actually just prefer it in a different steel, like an actual M390 or LC200N would be sweet, because it also have corrosion resistance. But overall, really enjoy the knife. I want to give you guys some size comparisons here. This is the Spidey Chef, which I think is actually a great comparison knife, because very also LC200N steel, corrosion resistance. This is super high, and titanium. I mean, this one doesn't have titanium hardware, or it doesn't. This one also does not have the ceramic detemp. But very similar kind of style of knife. The Hinder XM18 3.5. So it's a I would say a medium to larger size knife. And how about the Benchmade 940? Sporting titanium scales, a little bit bigger than that. Overall, I'm very pleased with it. The ergonomics, I mean, I did a ton of use with this, ton of testing, and the ergonomics are fantastic. The knife itself is awesome. Super smooth action, no play, very comfortable in hand to use under extended use. One of the most comfortable knives I've used under use, if that makes sense. A lot of guys will get a knife on their video, on their channel, and hey, this has got great ergonomics, let me hold it in my hand. But until you actually use it and put it through a lot, you really don't know how good the ergonomics really are. So let's go ahead and see what it weighs. 4.3 ounces, so decent weight. Right around the same as like a large Sabenza. Actually, probably a little lighter than the large Sabenza. I think those are closer to 5 ounces. So pretty light. It does have milling pockets in the inside of the knife to reduce the weight. Again, ceramic bearings, all titanium hardware, all titanium. Everything's non-magnetic. Pretty crazy stuff. I'll show you. This is a pretty strong magnet. Notice how it's not sticking to anything on the knife. So very cool stuff. I want to show you. So I didn't love the factory edge angle being so at 25 degrees. Just I think I could do way better at like a 15 degree edge, but it came pretty decently thin behind. Let's see. So it's about 20 thousandths behind the edge. Maybe a little bit more. So it's kind of thick too. It could definitely benefit from about 20 thousandths. So about the same, 21 thousandths, about the same as a paramilitary 2. I wish it was thinner, and I wish the edge angle was, more like a 15 to 17 degrees. I'm going to see about reprofiling. I got to contact Mr. Vagnino about. Michael Vagnino is actually the part. Train 365 is his new company, so and he was involved in the development of the Teravantium dendritic cobalt. That's his thing. And I'll put a link in the description or the website where you can read more about it. I was going to do an explanation of the video, but I've already got such long videos going on. So anyway, fantastic knife. I would recommend picking up either if you're interested in this blade material. It's pretty cool stuff. Different for sure. It holds a toothy edge a long time and is very easy to get sharp again. But it isn't the best for edge retention. There's definitely better ones out there, and that's. I mean, I would say even LC200N is better at edge retention, and it has very high corrosion resistance. But again, not as easy to sharpen in the field as this. So you take it for what it's worth. So definitely recommend this knife. If you $395 price point, it is fair. Very good build quality, full titanium. Actually, just a fantastic knife. One of my favorite pickups from USN Gathering, and definitely is going to earn a spot in the EDC rotation. So thanks for watching today, guys, and we'll see you next time.